Yo, what's going on? How's everybody doing? Thank y'all for tuning into another Daily Fitness live stream show. Making sure my camera is right. Is it right? Yeah, it's right. I'm just I'm overdoing it. There we go. I think we're good. How's everybody doing, man? Thank y'all for tuning in. It is June 29th on a Monday. 2026. Yes, sir. We are here getting in today. Hopefully everybody's having a good day at work and all that good stuff. What's going on, Tiny Aim? I see you in the building. We are... What the hell was I finna say? Oh, hopefully everybody's having a good day. Hopefully everybody's enjoying themselves at home or at work or whatever it is you're doing. Hopefully you're having a good day. However, if you're not having a good day, somebody's about to piss you off, let me break it down to you. Let me go. We're gonna let Mr. Chow break it down to you.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
And as long as you didn't die, get shot, and you're still alive, and you're still here, you're able to make something happen, do something good with your life, be productive, and fighting, struggling through these hard times that we're going through to get up, get out, get something, and make something about yourself. Then keep pushing, keep grinding, keep doing what you got to do, and let's go. Yes. Words of encouragement. Yeah, some high quality H2O right there. And let you know we are multi-streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, and Facebook. Do me a favor, when you see the thumbs up that pops up on your screen, do your boy a favor and get the likes up for the algorithms. Greatly appreciated. Get this message out and all that good stuff. I want to contribute to today's show. Cash App and the Venmo's right there, if I get it right. Cash App is going to be Daniel2888, Venmo, Danny-Daniel-00. It's greatly appreciated and all that good stuff. But we are going to just jump into today's show. What happened? So the weekend was a little hectic, but you know, I wasn't able to get the stream off on Friday. I tried to do this on Friday, but life was life, and so I wasn't able to get on Friday. So we're here on Monday to get this thing crack-a-lacking. With that being said, we are going to go through. I came across a video on YouTube. I thought it was really interesting. You know me, you know how your boy does. I'll start looking at stuff and start researching things like that. And I was like, man, this would be something good to sit down and just watch the whole thing too and kind of react to it and go through the whole thing or whatnot. I thought it was, at least, because there was some stuff that was talked about in this thing about people who had testimonies of going to hell or going through hell and coming back. I was like, this is worth noting, especially since we got all this Islamist terrorist stuff going on in the world right now. So it's good to get an idea on some on how evil can get, you know what I mean? So we want to go ahead and dive into this and make sure people keep their mind straight, their faith straight, and make sure you pray, meditate, fast, and all that good stuff in the meantime. But we're going to look at people who have testimonies who say they went to hell and came back. And they're going to talk to you and explain to you how, you know, bad things are, what it was, what they experienced, what they felt, what they saw, and all this good stuff. And I thought it was interesting to see and hear about, because it was like some of the things we think about, we're like, man, we take a lot of stuff for granted. So I think this will be a good one to kind of put into perspective. Sometimes, you know, if you're kind of down and out or feel a certain way, this would be something be very good to put into perspective and kind of give you a thought like, you know what, maybe shit ain't as bad as I thought it was. Like, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Maybe I could just chill out and all that good stuff. Tiny Aim says, I'm watching Japan beating Brazil at the moment. That will be a shock if that stays the same. Oh boy, Japan is beating Brazil. Excuse me, Japan is beating Brazil. Well, I wonder where they're playing at. Are they playing in Japan or are they playing in Brazil? Because I'm just gonna say, if Japan beats Brazil in Brazil, I don't think that's going to be a good thing for the people of Brazil, you know, because shit gets real in Brazil. The World Cup. Oh, stupid me. Yes, the World Cup is in Texas. I mean, not in Texas, but the World Cup is in America this year. So they're playing all over. Yeah, gotcha. They're in Houston. Okay, cool. Well, they're safe. They're safe. So the Brazilians can't act out too much. You know what I mean? You know, it was okay. I'm tripping. I keep forgetting the World Cup is here in America. All righty. Well, that's good then. So I would assume they're playing at the I forget the name of the dome, but whatever, the same dome they play they play football at. They're playing soccer, the World Cup at. What is it? The Allegiant Stadium? I think that's where they're playing at. I believe so. That would be my assumption. But we'll see what happens. I mean, hey, you know what? But the good news is the Japanese people are there, and I don't know if you've seen, but the Japanese people after the soccer games, you know, they have their own little trash bags, and the people of Japan will actually pick up their trash when the games are over and throw their own trash away. I'm like, hey, W to Japan for showing class. I was like, all right, good. Shout out to Japan for showing class. So hey, you know, at least the Japan side of things will still be clean, even if they win or lose, because you know they tend to have, you know, they were out there picking up their own trash after the game. I was like, wow, it's amazing. It's really nice, you know, group of people to have. I'd love to visit their country and do the same thing. You know what I mean? Go and experience the greatness of Japan, and I want to experience the technology. You said the Houston Stadium, but I think it's called Allegiant Stadium at the same time. Let me see. Let's find out real quick before we hop on this show. What is it? Japan and Brazil. What stadium? I'm pretty sure it's Allegiant Stadium in Houston, if I'm not mistaken. They are playing at the, oh, shit. It says Houston Stadium. I guess you're right once again, huh? You got me on that one. But Houston Stadium has a name. It's Allegiant Stadium. I thought it was. Well, damn. Shows how much I know. Slap myself in the face. This is ridiculous. All right. Well, okay. Well, whatever. Houston Stadium. That's the name of it. Then what the hell is Allegiant Stadium? What am I talking about? Allegiant Stadium. That's in Las Vegas. Why the hell did I think Allegiant Stadium wasn't? Boy, oh boy, shame on me. Well, it shows I've been out of the loop for sports in a long time. All right, well, I'm going to quit talking because I'm making myself look horrible right about now. They are not allowed to promote the branding. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Tiny Aim, from across the freaking ocean from where I'm at. You telling me about the place that's just 3 hours up the street from me. You telling me more about my... Yeah, you know what? Let me just go ahead and give myself the old sad song on that one. Yeah. It's a sad day. Tiny Aim is all the way over in Europe and has to tell me about Texas. Damn. You know what? Let me just go ahead and get myself the damn slap on that one. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. I'm gonna hold that L. Yeah. I'm gonna have to hold that L. I feel really bad. That little game of soccer that is supposedly smaller than the Super Bowl. That little game of soccer that is supposedly smaller. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a little game of soccer. That's for damn sure. The World Cup is a big deal. I just never watched the World Cup before. It should have been the year I watched it since they were here in America, but I never sat down and watched any World Cup games or anything. I'm not a big soccer fan. Although I do play FIFA with my son from time to time, and I whoop his ass in FIFA, but that's about it. You know what I mean? I enjoy the FIFA game. The FIFA games are fun. Playing on, you know, video game console, those are fun. But other than that, I don't really watch soccer. I'm not really too privy to it as far as, well, I'm watching it. But playing FIFA, I run some FIFA. I will run some FIFA for sure. And I'll run a little bit of FIFA here and there. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this show. This one's gonna take a little bit of time, but we're gonna go ahead and get right into it and dive right into it. So, testimonies from hell from people who've been to hell and back. All right, so let's go ahead and eat our popcorn and get ready. It's about to get real up in here. So we're finna hear what these people got to say, man. So let's go ahead and then get a good understanding of what's going on. So anyway, without further ado, let's hop right on in it. Here we go. Let's go.
Some people aren't going to believe this, but the ones that do, it's meant for you. And the ones that don't, I feel sorry for you. I really do, because it's a real place.
Somebody's explaining it to you, it does not do it justice to what it really is and how it really feels. It doesn't. Physically, you're not able to even really touch that deep. So it would have to be a miracle for God to touch somebody's heart to come to an understanding of what it is I'm explaining. And so that's why I understand that. So that's why I'm not doing this for people to believe me. I'm doing this because I am in fear of my own record. I'm in fear of going and ended up in that place.
Before I go forward, I'm not saying this to scare you guys. I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm just telling you, this is the true what happens after death.
If you don't have Jesus to bear your sin, you're going to bear it down in hell. Again, I was an atheist.
Here I was with my science degrees, and I'd seen so much as a firefighter and paramedic that I looked at it going, there's no God. I've watched so many kids die in the back of my ambulance. How can there be? I've watched so much horrible things happen. I went, this is just a bedtime story to keep people feeling better about themselves at night. You see, the wisdom of man made foolish.
All right, so we're going into it as soon as you die, as soon as you lose your life. So we're going to see what we see. So as you can see, it's going to go through a bunch of different people who have give their testimonies. And it's kind of like they mash them all together. You're going to hear it like jump through and keep giving you people's different testimonies of what they hear, what they said. So they give you a topic each time you dive into it. So as we see, as soon as you die, then as they go on, they'll just give you different titles and topics. So here we go.
And here's what happens when you die.
Just like Paul said, I was taken out of the body. I was no longer, in the body, but all of a sudden I was in the spirit. That's what happened to me. And I was whizzing through this dark tunnel so quickly that it was dizzying, right? It was way more intense than even the fastest roller coaster.
I was falling down face forward as I fell backwards. That was the weirdest part. That's the spiritual
I was falling
aspect.
forward and falling backwards at the same time, but I was still standing
I'm just
straight up.
flying downward.
I felt like I was just falling down an elevator, but it just never went back up.
Flying through darkness.
It's like being shot out of a cannon, except down, straight down.
They say the speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. That was faster than that.
Okay, well, that's interesting for sure, because they all got the same testimony as far as like how they arrived there. I think that's kind of interesting and kind of freaky at the same time. They all came to the same conclusion, different people saying that they all experienced the same, as soon as you die, the speed of which you descend. They all had a similar understanding or a similar way of explaining it. So that's scary.
Now, it's dark to the natural, but in the spirit, your spiritual eyes can see through the darkness, but it's still dark.
This kind of darkness is not a darkness that's here on earth. This darkness is alive.
You can't even see your hand in front of your face.
First time I'd ever experienced that kind of darkness.
I was surrounded in nothing but darkness. It was pitch black. I didn't even know if I was looking down or straight or to my left or right.
The sun doesn't touch it. The stars nor the moon touch hell.
And I started seeing things. It was so dark that you couldn't see, but in the spirit realm, you can still see.
It is so dark that you can actually feel the darkness. Exodus 10:21 talks about a darkness that may be felt.
You're experiencing that darkness of being absolutely out of the presence of the light of God. And now you're in absolute darkness when you're completely separated from God. However, you do see. You see everything, and you have to see.
There is no light in these.
Okay, that's interesting. So everybody's having their, so some of these people are pastors, and sometimes you kind of be iffy with when they speak, but these other people are just like normal people who are telling you their experiences as well. And it seems like they all seem like they have they're from different walks of life, different background. They somewhat giving you the same understanding of what they all went through. What up, Sneeze TV? What's going on, baby? How you doing? Thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate you. I can't tell what that emoji is, but hey, thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate you, my dog. So yeah. They're all giving you their understanding of how dark it is, and you can still see. So as we can see, everybody's giving their different accounts. They're from different walks of life, but they're still giving you a similar testimony. Still a similar recollection of what happened to them.
Outer realms. There's light when you get to the lake of fire, but the eyes that we have here are not the eyes we have down there. You can see in utter darkness, just like a cat.
All right, the screams. Let's see how this sounds.
And then I start to hear screams. These screams are not light screams. They are torture screams.
And I did forget to mention one thing. This is by Pursuing God is the name of the YouTube channel. I do want to shout them out. I should have shouted them out first, but I was multitasking. This is by Pursuing God YouTube channel. So shout out to them.
It's like an animal or somebody being tortured alive. It was horrific.
It's the most awful sight to see a person on fire, burning, screaming. The screams were so loud, you just can't say anything. You're just screaming in agony.
And what you become in hell is just a scream. You will never talk again. You'll never conversate with anyone.
I didn't cry out like a man. I didn't wail like a man. My head went up, and I began screaming like a woman.
I could feel the screams. That kind of cry and that sound we won't witness here.
And I knew it had to be billions, hundreds of millions of billions of people down there. I mean, screaming, and then their screams are gut-wrenching.
I'm hearing billions and billions of people screaming.
Just the most gut-wrenching screams you could ever imagine.
I hear all this screaming. So many people are screaming. Everybody's like, save me, help me, get out of here. I need to get out of here. No, I'm not supposed to be here. Nobody thought they were supposed to be in hell.
Trillions of people, as far as my eyes can see.
Cries of disappointment, cries of anguish, cries of hurt, cries of regret, cries if I just get one more chance.
The toughest Satan worshiper guy that goes there is just going to cry like a little girl. The toughest one on the planet is going to just bawl and beg to get out, and he ain't ever.
And they were screaming for Christ. They were screaming for forgiveness.
Man, all right, that's brutal. So we got the smell coming
I
up.
can smell stuff.
But there's no air down there. Just have to tell you that. There's no air.
I can tell you that these smells are just horrid.
First, I got a whiff of gunpowdery, like sulfuric smell, dead bodies, and the rotten eggs. But it was like everything's times a billion down there.
The second thing that caught my attention was this horrible smell. See, people don't realize when you leave the physical body, you still have your five senses. You still have them, but the thing is they're upgraded and modified. They're very more modified. I mean, times a million.
It was so horrible.
This terrible.
So you still got your senses, but everything is in heightened times whatever number. So you can still smell. Oh man, the smell of rotten eggs or sulfur. I know sulfur is not a good smell. That could be a horrible smell. So far we got it's dark. You can't see, but you can see, in a sense. All you hear is some extremely bad death screams, and now we're getting to the smell, and the smell is horrendous, is what we got so far.
Smells. And all the air's gone, and you're suffocating, and you have that panic, right? I can't breathe, and you're panicking, but you don't die. You're perpetually stuck in that state of panic. I'm gonna die, but you don't die. And at the exact same time I'm screaming, I'm suffocating. And these toxic, sulfurous fumes, just this putrid stench of rotting flesh, feces, sulfur.
I wondered, how could he be alive?
That sucks, to be at the perpetual state of like, I can't breathe. Like, you ever been underwater and you were underwater for a really, 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 really long time? And you at that point where you feel like you're gonna drown, so you have to come up real quick. That's, oh my, and then on top of that, you're screaming. That's gotta suck, dude. And you think you're about to die, but you don't die. But on top of that, you're screaming. I can't imagine that. You don't scream underwater, but getting the feeling of like not having no room to breathe, and then on top of that, you're screaming and it stinks. Oh man, that's horrible.
Breathing this toxic, foul air, but you continue living. There's not enough air to breathe either, so you have to fight and gasp for even the tiniest bit of oxygen. The smells are so foul and putrid, the most disgusting odors, and you're actually breathing in sulfur. Unbearable
heat. All right, heat. Let's see what the heat is about.
I'm trying my best to describe the heat, but the heat is so, it's beyond. It's beyond. I mean, just say if I wanted to put it on a temperature scale, I would say 12,000 degrees and up. And nothing physical here, especially in the flesh, could withstand that.
Would say it's like so hot, you feel like your eyes would melt or your tongue would melt.
It was boiling hot. I was burning up in this darkness.
Once again, beyond comprehension.
When I felt this heat, it's a different fabric. It's a different fabric of heat. It's not like how you burn your finger here. It's a spiritual component to it.
It's so hot, you can't even breathe.
I wasn't breathing because there's no oxygen down there. I think it was more mental, psychological, because I was so used to being in the physical.
Mouth is dry, but times it by a billion because you're constantly thirsty and hungry.
And it was like somebody had their fingers on a knob and were turning it slowly, constantly. The heat kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, moment by moment, which means tomorrow is going to be a whole lot worse than today. For forever.
Sheesh. Okay, so then on top of this, you're thirsty You can't breathe. You're hot. It stinks. And then you hear screams around you. You can't see, but you can see. And it's constantly getting hotter and hotter. It's not that it's hot. It's just that the heat keeps increasing gradually and gradually, but it just never stops. And then now, oh my, that's, and you know, whenever I look at this and I think about stuff like this, if this is the description that we're given for hell, then you got to look at the law of polarity and think about the polar opposite. Because they're saying that this is your spirit body that's going through this, and everything is so bad because it's being it's being intensified because you're in the spirit body. So that means on the opposite end, and I guess on the opposite end in heaven, it would be that much greater. You know what I mean? Like the goodness would be just as good as far as the opposite of what this badness is. So however bad and how horrible this seems, it's that much greater on the opposite end. But let's keep going. Let's see what it says. You will know everything. Let's see what you'll know.
Within a few seconds, all of a sudden, you know everything because it's your spirit. You see, our brain is more of a filter than it is anything else, but your spirit is alive. Even right now, when you go to bed at night, your spirit's still awake. Your spirit never sleeps.
I was granted discernment.
What's interesting is as soon as I saw him, I knew everything about him instantly.
Anything that you want to know in this place, all you have to do is ask it. Ask it in your mind or ask it out loud, and the answer will be given to you. It doesn't matter.
You can look at a person inside hell and you know why they're there. You instantaneously know, you know why that person is there.
Your soul knows everything instantly. I knew everything. Boom. I knew I was going to hell when I died. I knew it.
It was like instant knowledge. Well,
and I come to know just like all this information in the spirit, you'll just get this information to where you have no question about it. And it's really hard to explain to somebody who hasn't been in the spirit world. How did you know that? Who told you that? You know, or whatever. And it's just like, bro, you don't get it. You don't have any question.
Instant knowledge. So you have instantaneously. So you just have, you have all the knowledge of good and evil. So you know everything that's going on. The only issue is everything that you know that's going on is bad. Everything is just extremely the most negative. So you get the knowledge of good and evil, but all you know is just the worst and most baddest and evilest thing. You don't get the good aspect of it. So you get the good knowledge, you get the instantaneously thinking, you get to know everything that you want to know, but everything that you know is in the worst possible place you could be. That sucks. That's like a bad acid trip that gone wrong and you think negative the whole time. That's horrible.
Hell is a privation, meaning it's not a something, it's the absence of something. But that is the place where the love of God and the light of God and the life of God and all the good and all the beauty we see and we love, it's not there.
There was nothing pleasurable about this because you are without the love of God. You are without the love and affection from Jesus Christ.
I knew I was getting stripped of the things that God gave me that I took for granted, like hope, love, fellowship, patience, everything. The further I was falling down fast, everything was getting stripped from me, and I was getting more and more afraid. But this is a different type of fear.
It was taking everything that God had given us, like love, creativity, hope, dreams, talking, energy, movement, all types of stuff. Just to even laugh, think, just to even talk right now and even hear me is part of God's gift.
There's no.
Wow, to break that down like that is crazy. So you think of every little meticulous thing to talk, think, hope, hear, breathe, smell, touch, feel, think. You can still think, but if everything you thought of was negative, but all of that being taken, all the little things that we take for granted, they are naming like minor things that you would never think about. He said, talk, just to speak to the next person, just hope, faith, love, all that is just taken away. Man, that's cruel. That's crazy to be seeing that's being stripped away from you, and you can feel it being stripped away. Instead of being grateful that we have it now, they could feel it being stripped away. They said when they descended. Ugh.
No conversation.
You will never talk again. You'll never conversate with anyone. You'll never turn around and say, hi, how are you? Yeah, had a nice day. Or I love you. Or ha.
In that dimension, you can be.
Wow, you'll never say hi, how are you again. You'll never say I love you. You'll never say anything simple, ha ha, never. Dang, you'll never laugh again. You'll never say, hey, how are you again? Because you're in so much constant pain and suffering and misery, you can't focus on anything else but the extreme horrible feeling. Because remember, you can't breathe. The smell stinks. You can't see, but you can see. You know everything, but everything that you know is always going to be negative. And everywhere you go is you see nothing but just hell and torment. Could you imagine not being able to say, hey, hi, how you doing? Or even laugh again? Like laughing is taken. Oh, man.
Be right next to a person, there is no communication, because that fellowship comes from God.
There was no water, there was no air, there was no light, and there was no life.
There is no water in hell, absolutely none.
Not a drop of water. I was so thirsty.
There's no sleep, there's no rest, there's no food, there's no water.
So in hell, there's no blood.
There are no tears in hell.
Can't fight, can't move away.
In hell, you cannot fight back. You have no strength whatsoever. Imagine not sleeping for an entire month. For 1 month, not even 1 second of sleep. And for that month, no food. And for that month, no water.
I can't even explain or gravitate to the exhaustion I felt in this because I was so tired.
There's no sleep in hell.
It felt like I had no strength. I felt like I hadn't eaten for like months. I couldn't breathe. It was horrible. Everything that I took for granted, movement, a drink of water, just to have the ability to move my arms just freely, the ability to breathe, all the things that we take for granted.
I can't move. It felt like a whole planet was like weighing me down.
Even if you're there with millions upon trillions of people, you feel as lonely as if you're the only one there. And that's hard to explain.
I really felt abandoned, all alone.
Absent comfort, absent no interaction. Everything that appears to be even slightly good is not there at all. So it's horrifying. Horror and terror was a part of the elements, the environment. It was a part of the environment. It was exactly, you could not even choose to be at a different level of fear.
This fear was uncontrollable. This fear was indescribable.
But hopelessness hit me like a planet. The weight of a planet on my shoulders. It crushed me, every part of me, physically, spiritually, and emotionally.
This feeling of hopelessness is unbearable.
Blood relations are just physical, but the spirit is enduring on its own. You won't even consider yourself to have brothers and sisters and those of loved ones.
Anything that you think in this place.
Dang, you won't even care about. There's nothing that you would care about. Dang, it strips you of stripping you of caring, stripping you of feeling and thinking. It's stripping you of everything. That's brutal. And everybody's coming from different walks of life, giving you this testimony is whether they're all saying something similar. This is actually pretty wild. This is, man, could you imagine? Can't talk, can't laugh, can't move. You're exhausted. No water, no food. It stinks. It smells bad. You can't see, but you can see. Everything that you know is extremely terrible. And it's just nonstop and it's hot as hell. Whew-wee. This is brutal. It makes you think. It makes you think to just be grateful for just the simple things.
It can be heard as if you had spoken it out loud.
I couldn't close my eyes. I had to watch everything.
I'm fighting and I'm trying to do something and to no avail.
Literally could not do anything about it at all.
2 things you keep: your identity and your memory. And your memory is part of your punishment.
Your memory is part of your punishment.
People are coming and arriving in hell. They're just like me. They're screaming and kicking and crying. They don't want to be in hell. It's the worst experience.
They're yelling, "Let me out, I'm a Christian." They're thinking, "I'm a Christian."
I thought I had my salvation.
Next thought was like, but I thought that I'm a Christian. Like, what am I doing here? I'm a Christian. I didn't understand. Why would I be here if I'm a Christian?
All my life, I'm sitting here in church, praying, studying, talking about Jesus. leading people to Jesus, and now I'm in hell.
The people asking the Lord, 5 minutes, one more chance. I heard that more than anything. I heard that more than the blasphemous things people were yelling at. Please, one more chance. Or let me make it up to them. That's a lot of no ones I heard. They wanted to make it up to people for what they done.
Screaming, just shouting, and people saying that, let me out. Let me out. I want to do right. I want to do right this time. I promise to do right.
Everybody's like, save me, help me, get out of here. I need to get out of here. No, I'm not supposed to be here. Nobody thought they were supposed to be in hell. Many people are coming going, no, can't be for real. This isn't real. It's not supposed to be. I've been told that hell is what we go through on earth. It's not really hell. There's no real hell. And then I have people that are going, I was saved. I was saved.
I was walking and they would walk past me and the voices, it wasn't screams and it wasn't none of that. All you could hear was, why am I here? I don't know why I'm here. How did I get here? Do you know how I got here? I don't know how I got here. Do you know how somebody help me? I wish somebody could help me, but I can't talk to anyone. I'm just all by myself. They're very, 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 very fast. It's very, very quick.
It was blasphemous things being yelled. It was just horrible. People begging for one more chance.
But it's too late, because once we have our opportunity and our chances, God's so merciful, he's so lovable, he gives you chance after chance after chance, and then we don't take that chance, that's where we're going to go.
I was thinking this to myself, that I'm not such a bad guy. Why am I ended up here?
Why I was down there was replaying in my head over and over again.
It's a place of constant reminder. There's a constant reminder that this is where you belong and you deserve it.
It's you. You have every memory. I remembered every girl, every time I got high.
All the things that we take for granted, it was going through my mind.
You come to the realization that you're in hell over and over again, and every time feels like the first time. Every time feels like the first time that you're realizing that you're in hell, even though you've gone through this over and over again.
You're so desperate. You're so desperate. I remembered I looked to the demon at my left, and I was about to beg it for mercy, even though I knew it was a complete waste. But it was all I could do.
When somebody just scares you, you get immediately scared. You may burst out, you may yell or something because you're scared, and then it begins to come down. But I'm talking about fear that stays at that level, as if somebody had just, you just got caught at the highest point of how scared you were, or what fear you had, and that's all that you have the entire time. It doesn't come down. So you're like, feel like as if you basically shouldn't be able to breathe or be normal, even handle yourself.
You're frantic. You're almost like a rabid animal. You're almost on the verge of insanity because you're just so terrified and horrified and all of this, and in such an indescribable pain, and it's happening at the same time. You're just desperate. You're desperate for anything.
This fear was uncontrollable. This fear was indescribable. I wanted to cry, but I was too scared. I had so much fear inside of me to where I couldn't cry. As your skin is being ripped from your body, as your teeth are being broken, as your tongue is being clipped, as your eyes are protruding out of your head, you know what you think about? You think about every time your grandmother told you that you need to serve God. You know what you think about? You think about every time you turn the TV channel and you heard a message about serve God and repent. You know what you think about? You think about every time somebody came to you and told me, do you know Jesus Christ? Do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? You think about that. You think about that. You hear about the times that you could have prayed and you get tormented. You get tormented because you had the chance to serve God. You had the opportunity to serve God. You had the opportunity to have everlasting life, but you chose to party. You chose to fornicate. You chose to lie. You chose to steal. You chose to do drugs. You chose to get drunk. You chose to cheat on your husband or your wife. You chose to rob and steal people and kill people. And this is what you got. This was what you got.
I remembered all my friends.
Sheesh. It's like one big test, like the movie Devil's Advocate. It's like, this even in that movie, Charlize Theron, she was like, everything feels like one big test. And according to that movie, it was. Everything was just one big test. And that basically that what he explained. It's just like one big test that we're going through. And regardless of what you believe in or not, it's because you have to think about it. It's like the way we live, it's like a life is short. Some people believe that you just come back reincarnated in a different body and you continue in like a different body and you just keep recycling. Others believe that your soul goes to an end place, like what we're hearing here, and you know, deal with some kind of torment that comes later on in the future, but it never ends. Whatever the case may be, it's just, I think it's interesting that all of these people, a bunch of these people are telling their stories, but they have striking similarities.
Up on the earth, getting high, calling girls. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, they have no idea what's waiting for them.
Like here, the demons are invisible, but down there, they're physical. Because you're in the spiritual world now, you're in their world. That those same demons that were with me when I sinned in my life were going to be the ones to torture me. So who better to torture me than the ones who know how to torture me?
They were very seductive. There's no other word to put it. And they seem like they know more about human nature than you could imagine. They know how to use human chemistry, to use emotions to generate chemistry in the body to addict you to pornography or addict you to something.
And they are so evil. They are the definition of sadism. That's
I got to go back. I heard him say at the beginning, he said that the demons down there, you can see them now. Here, you couldn't see them. Like I said, we got reptilian shapeshifters. They're hard to see. I mean, but he said down there, they're in the spirit. You can actually see them now. You know what they look like. I missed what this older gentleman said, but let me go back and play it again. We're going to start right here and just let him speak again. But for him to say that you can't see, you can see them now. They ain't hide no more because now they got you in their dimension that they need you in. They're like, we got you. Now we don't have to hide from you anymore. We can go full-fledged. That's brutal.
like here, the demons are invisible, but down there, they're physical. Because you're in the spiritual world now, you're in their world. That those same demons that were with me when I sinned in my life were going to be the ones to torture me. So who better to torture me than the ones who know how to torture me?
They were very seductive. There's no other word to put it. And they seem like they know more about human nature than you could imagine. They know how to use human chemistry, to use emotions to generate chemistry in the body to addict you to pornography or addict you to something.
Bruh, that is literally the existence we live in today. That is literally the existence we live in today. He nailed that. That's literally what we live in. Like, we live in a world of like all the stuff that goes on, you know, adding soy to everything or sugar to everything or chemtrails in the skies or changing of the frequencies and all these different things. They know using those things to manipulate human psyche, human frequency, human influence. And what that older man just explained, like, we live that today. We battle that all the time.
So evil. They are the definition of sadism. That's what they are. They just want to destroy you in this world. And when they get their hands on you in hell, they're going to destroy you more.
Demons absolutely hate us. And there's no good in them, and there's no light in them, there's no mercy, and there's no love.
An extreme hatred for God and for man.
The hatred they have for us, it would make you love all mankind and stick together against these beings. Really, people don't understand that.
That's a fantastic words he just said. These things have such a hatred for us that it'll make all of mankind will want to stick together against these things, because we don't see them here. But if you see him down there, then it's like, well, dang, it's too late. But that was spot on with what he just said. I'm gonna let him say it again.
An extreme hate.
I always talk about this. I always talk about races. I always say, man, whoever invented race, whatever shapeshifter is using the human form that invented race and made people believe that race was color, that did a number on everybody because there is no multiple race. I mean, there is no race based off of color. There's only one race, is the human race. Now, there are other races of species, but as far as like race is not a color. I mean, humans are multiple different colors, but then when you got shapeshifters taking human forms and stuff like that, and they're able to manipulate and take the form of humans and stuff like that, and then manipulate you and make a group of people or humans believe that race is skin color and not actually a different race of species that could potentially be their enemies. Because of what that guy just said, it will make you want to love every human being and everybody turn around and stick together and band and fight against these things. Instead, we fighting each other over a bunch of nonsense. But let's keep going.
Hatred for God and for man.
The hatred they have for us, it would make you love all mankind and stick together against these beings. Really, people don't understand that
that's the power of love. You would love your fellow human beings because you look and be like, bro, we got a serious problem. Like that's the best word so far I've heard on this.
To stick together against these beings. Really, people don't understand that these demons feed off our depression. They feed off our anxiety. They feed off our aggression. They feed off our hate. They just feed off of us. So that's why they call us in the background. They don't have the power to make us do it, but they have the power to influence situations that make us do these things, and they feed off that.
They don't have the power to make us do it, but they have the power of manipulation. That's basically what he said in a shorter words. So we got the authority to make our decisions, but they got the power to try to manipulate us and put us into a situation of fear, stress, anger, hunger, stress, rage, undecisive or lazy, or or give us everything, give us all the food, all the attention, all the comfort that we want, and then we could be gluttonous, or we could be lustful, or we could be all these things. So they manipulate the situation, and it's like whatever you do, you determine your outcome, because then I have legal authority. If you screw up, I can come and get you because you stepped off the straight and narrow path. Whew, that's brutal, but I mean, it's truth.
They wouldn't say nothing to me, but they'll look at me and they'll laugh. They were giggling.
Like she's giggling, little but the laugh itself, they were laughing. I felt it. It was a different type of laugh. It was a demonic hatred. Like these demons, they wanted to attack me. They wanted to rip me apart. And I can just feel the hatred that they have for mankind, the hatred that they have for us. It is beyond anything. It is beyond, and you can feel it's ancient, and you can feel it is powerful. It is power in their hate. It is so powerful.
Darting in and out of the flames. I could see them going in and out and through the rock as they pleased.
And you can see them descending, and you know where they're going. They turn to it like a mist. They go back and forth, because they're reporting, monitoring spirits as well. They're going all over the place. They go back and forth. They call familiar spirits because everyone, when you're born, you're sent an agent, a spirit, a demon, who monitors you, who watches you, who knows your every move, who knows your diet, knows your likes, your dislikes, your comfort, your discomfort, know everything about you. It's kind of like data mining, what the government does. And what happens is, if you have a psychic, that's what they call mediums, okay? They don't know nothing about you, but what happens is their demon or familiar spirit is communicating with the other person's familiar spirit. So it makes it seem like the medium or the psychic knows about you, but there's nothing but two demons communicating with each other, telling the medium about you. It's all a trap.
You can't even describe these things, really. They're just so horrible looking.
First of all, they were blaspheming and cursing God. They had an extreme hatred for God. Right. They were deformed, twisted, grotesque creatures, and then they directed that hatred towards me.
And these most ugliest, horrible, monster, demonic things are there. They're waiting. The torturers, they're waiting.
They're the most grotesque, smelliest, Hollywood can't even get close to how these things look. They're so deformed. They had legs and twisted arms, but they had a reptilian look, a reptile look to them. And their eyes were glowing yellow.
They had a reptile look. Isn't that what we always been hearing about for the longest time being here? Isn't it how ironic that they bring up that they have a reptilian look? And we've been told about these things for a long time. That's crazy. Which makes sense as to why they shapeshift. That's crazy. And they even put this stuff in cartoons. There's a cartoon I found out recently called Invincible or Invisible. It's with a character named Omni-Man. I found out from him from Mortal Kombat. And Omni-Man, his race of people, when I like kind of caught up on some of the show or something, a dude named Thrag from his planet came to Earth. And it was like 37 of his people. And what they do is they know how to blend in because they kind of look like humans. Well, they do look like humans, but they could fly and they got strength and stuff. But it was only 37 of them. And what they did was they reproduced with humans to grow their race again. And they had missions to do while they were here. Their mission was, some missions were, hey, simply reproduce. Just go out and have a lot of babies. And then they would know through blood types and bloodline which babies were who, and they would raise them and grow them up to go out and fight the humans or take over the earth. So it's weird when you look at the cartoons and then you hear the stuff that they're speaking on, and they have striking similarities. And also conspiracy theories have talked about reptilian stuff like this for years. So it's crazy how it all goes full circle. Let's keep going.
Some of them eyes were red. Some of them were like 13 feet tall. Some of them were this big. They're everywhere.
They had hands and feet, but instead of fingernails, they had talons. And then their ears were pointed. And then the really interesting feature about how they looked was that their eyes were solid yellow and seemed to glow. And when they opened their mouths, I could see white fangs. They had like vampire-like fangs and a bright red tongue.
Some of them have yellow eyes, green eyes, red light eyes. Not beautiful little green, red light like Christmas lights. These eyes were evil, wicked. Some of them were different. Some of them have face of like rats. Some look like bats. You guys see these movies, these Hollywood movies, that demons, how demons, they describe demons. See, Hollywood is based on the Antichrist. Witches and warlocks work for Hollywood. So they see demons. It's why they come out with these movies, because that's exactly how they look.
The thing was huge. It was built like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. I mean, just ripped full of muscles. It had no hair whatsoever on its body. None. Like no hair up here, no mustache, no beard, no hair on the knuckles like I have. Just completely hairless. It's completely humanoid in shape, though. I mean, it had 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 mouth, 1 nose, 2 ears. Other than that, it looked completely human. The differences was this, where our eyes are white, its was yellow, and where the iris of our eyes can be green or blue or brown, its was gold and diamond shaped like a snake's. It had, the only thing that looked really strange about its teeth was it had, where we have our canines, it had 2 tusks coming up out of its mouth like a boar, like a wild pig. This thing is 13 feet tall, and it's not like I sat there and said, okay, stand still, let me grab a step ladder and measure you. Where's my tape measure? You know, no. Anything that you want to know in this place, all you have to do is ask it. Ask it in your mind or ask it out loud, and the answer will be given to you. As a man, I'm not afraid of any other man on the face of this earth. I will fight anybody. I don't care how much bigger they are than me, but this thing, there was no fighting it. I mean, it was far too big.
And I could never really get an accurate picture of, because...
And as you see, it's like they're saying that they go in different dimensions. It seems like when we go in their dimension, how they said that they feel exhausted and weak, and when they potentially come into our dimension or our side, they probably don't have that same strength, which is why they probably have to hide and shape shift or whatever, or probably potentially while they go after the little ones and stuff like that, as far as, you know, LIVESTREAM files go. But let's keep going.
His breath was so foul, it would distort his face. So I could never tell you how many eyes he had. Couldn't tell you he had 1, 2, 3, or 4. It looked like multiple eyes because his breath was so foul, it was just distorting his face. And he looked like a little reptilian dinosaur.
Reptilish in appearance, bumps and scales all over their bodies. These particular two were about 12 or 13 feet tall.
But it looked like part man, part wolf, part bear, and part pig or hog. If you took all of those and mashed it into an entity, its skin was just rotting and disgusting yellow, and its teeth were just razor sharp. They were all crooked and nasty, but razor sharp. And then its eyes were like a lizard, but they were blood red. And it had a black cloak on too. And as I'm screaming and I'm looking at it with eyes just, trying to beg for mercy, when I started screaming again, I saw the demon's head go back and its eyes became euphoric. And I could tell it was high on my pain.
Some of the things down there, they fly, and there's a bunch of them flying around. So they started flying towards me as well. And they were all screaming, talking stuff to me like, I'm going to get you, or you're mine, or I get them first. There was these things flying around like I mentioned before. They would, like, some of them would go to the top of the gate and perch off of it, and they would have somebody like this, like they were eating off of them. I'm seeing that. Most of them, they have genitalia, like they're all males, and most of them have penises or whatever. But you could see as they're torturing them, it would get hard and erect, and they would make those noises like stuff like that, arousement noises or whatever. Yeah. As they're doing that to them, they're playing with themselves, they're masturbating and all that. And this is, I just landed there.
Watch, the demons were salivating just thinking about video games that were coming out in 1978, because they knew that they were going to be able to occupy it, just like they occupied the radio, just like they occupied television, because what happened, and just like they occupied now with the internet, but back then it wasn't. But when they occupy all these things, they know everything that's going on.
As they were dancing, they were...
Because they knew they were about to get an influx of negative energy. That's what that is. And an influx of people screwing up. Ugh. They're salivating off your pain and beating off while you're getting tortured. Jesus.
Keep singing.
But what's crazy is that, okay, wait a minute. On that note, how they say they get aroused off of pain and stuff like that. This goes hand in hand with the conspiracy theories we've heard. Like the crazy stuff you heard with the Clintons and all that stuff like that. Like, this goes hand in hand with that stuff, or stuff in the LIVESTREAM files of like the way they were torturing the little children. Like, this goes hand in hand with that. That's when you think about that, it's like this matches the way these people act towards pain and lust and perversion. Like, this honestly checks out the conspiracy theories, which turns out in today's world, because we got computer, they turn out to be facts.
We worship you, Satan. We worship you, Satan. And I can hear almost rock and roll music, just as us, that I used to listen to Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and all this rock and roll music, because that's also satanic. Rock and roll was created by Satan.
All right, what happens to you? All right, well, I guess they haven't told us what happens. We haven't figured out what happens yet. I thought we were figuring that out. Jesus, it's about to get bad.
The wages of sin is death. Hell is death. It's eternal death, but you don't die. You experience death forever. And the worst kind. You understand? Anything you get pleasure from in this world that God says thou shalt not, it's waiting for you down in hell, and it's going to be a torment against you. There's no more pleasure. No more pleasure, just pain and sorrow. And you got pleasure from sin, and now they're going to get pleasure from you. Because what's down in hell is murder, is rape, is sodomy, is all the filthy evil that is in this world that people are doing, yeah? But down there, the demons do it. They're the torturers. Do you understand?
Hell is a universe. It's not you get tossed in the lake of fire. Oh, I'm burning. No. Think again. No. Hell got its own individual departments. Whatever your sin was, whatever you decide to go for in this world, the things that you love to do, the thing that carries you, the thing that takes you to that place that you love to do, that goes against God, you're gonna do that. They got a place for you. They got a spot for you in hell. And believe me, what you love now, you are going to hate when you get there. You're gonna hate when you get there. Believe me, you will hate it. And it wasn't nothing pleasurable. There was nothing pleasurable about this, because you are without the love of God. You are without the love and affection from Jesus Christ.
The body you're equipped with in hell, you live forever, because, you know, we're made eternal beings in God's image, and so our soul is eternal. It won't die. And you want to die. I wanted to die, but you can't die.
And I pleaded. I was like, let me die. That's all I can say. Let me die.
And I also seen maggots crawling through your flesh, in your bones, and they're eating you. They're eating your flesh.
I start feeling these crawling sensations on me, kind of like insect, like.
That with the bugs are like huge.
These thousands of maggots, worms, and they're like thick. They're thick. They're thick as soda cans. Okay, they're not like regular maggots here in this dimension. They are thick and they're big, and they started to chew at my feet. And then once it was a few of them, when I looked down, it was hundreds of them. They started to make a mound around me up to my knees of these demonic maggots. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yo, maggots are nasty, yo. So you can imagine a maggot the size of a soda can, bro, like this big. Whew. No, thank you.
But that was the least of my worries.
Because these things, they're not like programmed.
That was the least of my worries. Wow, that you wasn't really worried about those maggot-sized Coke can maggots. Sheesh.
They don't just chop your legs off and cut your throat, and that's it every time. They switch it up. They go down, they cut you down here this time, cut you up here, cut you here, come down into your throat, rip your tongue, your insides out. Dumb things to me that you know what I mean? Disgusting things. And every time they done it, I remember the last time, and the fear from the last time they done it was with me the next time. And that's how the fear and terror multiplies in hell. It will never get better, and it will always get worse. It will always get worse.
Another one that stood out to me was this a 15-year-old kid. Take away from what I seen him get. There was like 5 of those things on him, and they was ripping his arms out, and they would shove it up his rectum or whatever, and rape him with it. And at the same time, they're carving stuff into his face. They're slicing his ears off, and like they're making little like cracker sandwiches out of his ear, stuff like that. They're talking stuff to him. They're licking him. They're eating him. And then the ones that are walking by, the demons, they would stop and they would all like high five each other, playing with themselves, all types of stuff. Like that's all they do. Like they get sexual satisfaction out of your pain, your agony, your screams, all that. Anything.
See, what he's saying is weird because I hate to say, well, here's what it is. Like it lines up with what they say, what they do with people's blood, how they get the fear out of people's blood. It's like it lines up with that. You know, it's crazy when you think about it, but what they're saying lines up with the crazy stuff that the people be doing to get the fear out of people's blood before they drink it. It's crazy. When you think about it, it's like, it sounds crazy, but then it like checks out in a sense. Maybe not the ripping off arms, maybe, I don't know, but just the fear in the torturing, it checks out with that way of what they do to get the fear out of people's blood so they can drink it.
Thing that's not positive. They're feeding off of it.
But there were demons literally taking turns having sex with this woman. And that when I say it's not regular sexual intercourse, it was beyond mind. I mean, I can't say too much to describe, but all I can say is that she was very promiscuous when she was here on this earth, and they were torturing her in ways that you can't even imagine.
The one picked me up, threw me into the wall, tremendous strength. I collapsed on the floor. I felt bones broken. The other one dug his claws into my chest, tore the flesh open. You have a body in hell, but it can withstand this torment.
The two forced my hands down on the plank, and the one in the middle, it puts a nail on my finger, and it begins driving the hammer like this, just smacking it. And the first hit of the nail went right through my finger. The second hit pretty much cracked it, and my finger went off to the side. And then the third hit bent the nail over. And then from there, it didn't care if it was hitting nails or smashing my fingers. And it was just going back and forth. And its head was back like this, and it was cackling, like this wild, insane cackling noise, just hitting like this.
And what's crazy is I've seen other people land him too. And, oh, dude, they smothered them. They swarmed him with their second. So as soon as he landed, they got him. They swarmed him. It was almost like you've ever seen a zombie movie and they're pulling them apart and stuff like that. They were just pulling them apart. They were eating them. They were cutting them apart. But at the same time, he's alive and he's like screaming. And I can hear all these other people screaming as well, but he's screaming. And they would take, oh, dude, he would regenerate after they pull him apart. It was almost like it never happened. It would reset. And they were just sitting there like right here, right in front of me as soon as I landed. And they're like this, just sawing him apart. They're licking his wounds. Like they're just licking them. They're telling their fucking stuff to him. They're like, yeah, we're going to get you in your mind. Like they were saying, I don't want to cuss.
There's no ear, you're not breathing. I look getting this fear and terror into you, and they're cutting you asunder, and they're changing every time. They're ripping your legs off, they're cutting you up your privates, cutting your throat. Listen, they can do whatever they want down there. It's so bad. They just butcher you. They just cut you asunder. They do whatever they want. They cut your head off, stab you through your eye, and you don't die. And I remember putting up my hand in hell like that, as if to say stop, like to stop. And I just see him chopping through my fingers, chopping my hand, chopping here, stabbing me. And then I'd open my eyes and I'd be back again, and then start over again.
There were two demons, and they were laughing, these reptile things, and they had her mouth, and they stretched her mouth so far back, like to rip her jaws open, and they were pouring lava down her throat and sticking her throat with spears and just like these old ancient looking rusty daggers, and they were getting a kick, and it was horrible. But then the fact is, she turned the bone, she was breaking up, and then she would rejuvenate, and they would do it all over again and over again and over. And they were taking turns. They were inviting other demonic spirits. They were laughing. They were having fun torturing this lady. But the things that I saw and the tortures that I saw is that you regenerate. So just say if your arm falls off, it'll grow right back so you can get tortured again. It's a place of pure torture, like torture. Hell is no relief. There's nothing.
And I'm getting torn apart, ripped apart. I could feel all of it. And I was screaming, but nothing came out. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't run. I had no power there. I was completely trapped.
No, when you lose a hand, it grows back immediately. And then you lose it again.
You see demons poking their privates with these swords, poking their privates all the way in and coming out through their chests in different direction, but they start in through their privates. And the word it says that masturbation is a no-no. It's a sin. It says cut up your hand and throw it into the fire. It is better than your hand to burn than your whole body. But the flames there rise higher on Christians. Demons torture you in different way, even sexually. They can tear your head. They can sexually attack you. They can cut you. They can stab you. They will tear your pieces, and you're still alive. You can feel everything that's going on.
You're probably going, What does that look like? How do you know which ones were Christians and the ones that were not? I'm glad you asked. There's a light that was in them that the devils were constantly trying to rip away from their flesh. They were consuming the glow that was left upon them. The best way to explain it is imagine anointing oil that was once on something, but you can smell what's left over. Just that pitch. It's the same thing. You were once in the presence of God.
They will mutilate you and use your body parts to beat on you with. Things, just unimaginable things. And I just knew this was my forever. There was no break. There was no pause. There was no rest. Not even for 1 second. No rest. None. Zero. Screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming for the ever and ever and ever and ever.
The next portion, I watched the sodomites. I watched men that slept with men. They were now forced to fornicate with demons. These demons looked like men, but inside they were full of molten hot. Best thing I can say is it's like fire. It is fire. It's consuming fire. These men did not want to fornicate. They knew what was going to happen, I guess, because they've relived the torment a million times, but they could not help themselves. As they began to fornicate with these demons, they would literally waste away. The same as if I took a hot dog and I put it on hot coal, and you would watch it burst and shrivel and cook. Eternal Mortal Kombat. They could not die. I watched others who were angry in their last moments, and they went to shoot others. And as they shot the gun, and this shows how physics are different down there, the bullet went forward and then shot them through the back of their head. They fell down, and then they got up, and then they did it again. And then they did it again. And then they did it again.
It was an elderly lady. She was crawling out of the pit, just screaming bloody murder, just burning, like her flesh was falling off of her. Seeing the sulfur balls from Sodom and Gomorrah lit on fire, and like they drip. That's how her flesh was dripping off. It's like, go get me another hammer or something like that. Got a bigger hammer, and she regenerated, smashed her face in again, and she's screaming bloody murder, because you can't die. Like if you get smashed into a billion pieces, it's like a episode from like a cartoon or something. You're still alive, so like, and you feel it. She was screaming bloody murder. I didn't even like understand how she could scream, but her face was so smashed in. It was like it wasn't even there.
They attacked me, cut into me, destroyed me. I experienced regenerating every time. Every time they took me to the point of where I would die in the natural, in this world, I opened my eyes and my body was back perfect, and they done it again. And that's how it went on, and again.
A hand picked me up from the back of my head, and it flung me, and it flew. And now, as I flew, okay, now remember, you have no energy, there's no nothing. Even just when I laid down, I couldn't get back up.
They were all at a large banquet table. They were all being fed the things that pleased them in this life. The things they loved most. Those that love steak, they were being given steak, steak, steak. Those that loved sweets and desserts were being given desserts. Those that loved the fine things in life, the breads, the caviars, every time they ate a spoonful or broke a piece, there was more back there. But the difference is that what was pleasure in this earth was being meant for torment. The demons said, let them eat cake. That phrase was continuously repeated. Let them eat cake. Let them eat cake, as they forced them to continue to eat more until, I'm going to put it bluntly, their innards ruptured. And then they did it again after they regenerated. The others that were not ruptured, they did not destroy them with the food. They tormented them with what was in the food. Everything you feared in this life. Some of them, they put it in the food. There were some people, as they bit the food, fire ants would come out. Others, spiders would come out. Scorpions would come out. Each torment was customized to the individual for the highest output of torment and torture.
They kept going around the circle in this box. They kept poking the hole, poking the hole, poking the hole, day and night.
That's brutal. Ugh. And it's weird how all these, I don't know why he's behind a green screen, but all the other people, like everybody in general, as you go to each topic, it's like they all have a similar understanding of the same situation that they each individually went through, which is wild as ever. That's wild. Oh man. But ugh. Whew. It'll make you think. This will for sure make you think. This is a pretty long video, so we're about halfway through. We got to keep going.
And I can hear somebody screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. And there was a pastor in there.
And then I really started getting, like, I guess the best way I can describe it is just scraped. You know, just scraped. And I'm literally just sitting there. I can't do anything. I can't move. Can't talk. I can't scream. Want to scream. Can't fight. Can't move away.
You see, those that are just getting generally tormented, these were lukewarm Christians that believed that they could fornicate, that they could be in pornography, that they could be of lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and there wouldn't be a consequence. They were given over to their desires, and the devils enjoyed tormenting them more than they did the sinners. The demons down there, they consistently torment. They force people to fornicate with devils until their flesh falls off. I want you to imagine fornicating against your will until the point that your flesh can no longer stay on your bones. And then
can't even
when you're
comprehend that.
down to your bones, you just regenerate to experience it again and again and again and again.
The small door opened inside of me, on the side of me, and something stepped into it. Like it was like this small, I don't even know what it was. It was like it opened up and it stepped into me and it closed the door, and that hurt so bad.
Now on to those that were really dark. They got special assignments. Those who raped others in this life were raped themselves. It was a consistent thing, but the demonic thing about it was they were raped by those that they raped. These demons took on this imagery, and this was their punishment forever. Those that molested children, as children, God kept them in the form as children to experience what they did to other children. So forever they were tormented in hell for the things they did in this life. So in this level, and this gives you an idea of the devils we're dealing with, people were force-fed Judas silver. But there was something that's very disturbing about it. I mean, the silver is already bad enough. As people's teeth bit down on the silver, their teeth shattered and they bled and they screamed and they were in agony and they choked on the money. But $100 bills of different time periods, by the way. So it's not just U.S. currency. I'm talking all forms of currency fluttered down out of nowhere because there's no sky there. It just fell out of nowhere. But here's what I found most disturbing. You would think the coins were the most disturbing. Pink Floyd played the song Money. That song plays in hell on loop in this level. It is a constant reminder to everybody what they traded their life for, what they traded their glory for, what they traded their eternity for. The first part of this level, I watched the religious and the lukewarm being crucified upside down. Hell hates them more than anybody else. Isn't that wild? The religious, they hate them because they were this close to not having to be there. But the angels are glad that they are. And I say angels because I mean fallen angels, the tormentors of hell. They work for Lucifer himself. These people were given over to a grand delusion. They're being crucified. Understand, they're being slit open like fish. And they argue amongst each other as they're on their crosses being crucified upside down. And they try to argue about how holy they are versus the other people around them. They have literally no understanding they're in hell, being tormented, being crucified eternally. But their ego, their pride, continuously has them in a state of torment that they will never understand, they'll never break from. The lukewarm are always there saying, why me? I don't deserve to be here. I was a good person. And the demons tell them, he denied you as you denied him. They let you know for eternity why you're there. And as we looked out over this cliffside of where my cell was, I saw the lake of fire and everybody in it. I saw people just constantly being consumed by the fire, but they could not be put out. Unlike the others where their flesh went down to the skeletal, these did not have a chance. It's weird to even say mercy. No, their flesh was not consumed.
I've seen rivers of fire. People are burning. There's been people burning there for many, many, many years, hundreds of years. People are their flesh burns. They burn, and the flesh falls. And your bones get nice and toasty and black and gray. And when it's done, then the flame, your skin, your flesh starts growing back on you. And then the flames start again. But they were chained up together, and they were walking, going up and down as they wanted to get out. But you could hear their screams, and you can see them reaching out with their hands. You can see the skeleton.
On his stomach, these bubbles would begin to form, like boiling bubbles. Spirit flesh, if you will. It was burning and sizzling, and then chunks of it would just fall off and hit the floor. I am freaking out. And I remembered I looked over to my right arm, and it was the same thing, just searing fire coming off and pieces of flesh burning and falling to the floor. But when I looked back to my left arm, the flesh that had just fallen off had regenerated, and it was burning and falling off all again. And
a grayish looking flesh skeletal. There's not a hair on.
I mean, the details that they give in this thing is pretty wild. It's like they're giving extremely vivid details of what each and every single one of them gone through, and it's kind of it's crazy to see, and then to think to say that some of these people made this up would be not this many people having somewhat of a similar story, but at the, you know what I mean? It make you think, man, because a lot of the stuff, like I said, we've heard about these things, and we've heard about these things happening here and not just in a different dimension or a hell concept. We've actually heard of these things, you know what I mean? Like, one of the reasons why they say Hillary Clinton tore up that laptop, you know what I mean? It said a bunch of things.
On their bodies, totally naked, totally inflamed in fire from their toes to the top of their heads, teeth broken up, and I mean screaming. I've never heard a worse sound in my life than the screams in hell. Their teeth were broken, shattered, snot coming out of their nose, spit coming down their chin, and just the most gut-wrenching screams you could ever imagine.
Acid all over him, and his flesh starts to disintegrate and fall off, and then the fire is burning hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's disintegrating and falling off and regenerating and dripping, just dripping off in fire. And the worms pile up over him. He's being covered in acid. He's covered engulfed in flames, and he's screaming in torment.
And the longer the people have been in there, the less flesh they have.
So many much more parts that I would like to discuss about it, but there's no way it wouldn't be appropriate to put the tortures and the things that I mean, in detail, what I saw, the torturing, the suffering, the regrets.
99% of people down there are getting raped. The 1%, I call it a mercy, are in the pits.
But imagine 99% of people out there are getting graped. 99%. I'm gonna let this play on until it gets to the 1 hour mark. Then we're gonna wrap it up. That's crazy. So everybody's getting and he said the 1%. And the 1%, he said he calls them the lucky or whatever, something like.
Imagine the worst prison scene and the worst things people can do to you. And they did it all.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, you realize you've only just begun. You've only just begun.
It was so horrendous. There's a lot of things that I want to describe about hell that I saw, but it would be totally, I don't even know how to word it. It'd be very inappropriate for the language that I would have to use to be able to describe it. And I thought that was it. Obviously, they're just getting prepped to go through the real gates of hell. So
that was preparation. That was prep. Everything that y'all just talked about, all this brutality that happened, all this ripping and sodomizing and lava and all, that was prep. That was preparation. Oh my goodness.
I haven't had that experience to go through those gates, but pre-hell to me is beyond anything that I can even, and that's when I coined it, pre-hell. And I thought that was it, because that torture and that stuff, that torture in that realm is so beyond. It is beyond. Like, I can't even describe it, like I say, in words, but it's so horrific. No. So I can imagine when you go into your permanent spot.
He put in my understanding, in my knowledge, that he paid the price for sin in hell, not just on the cross, but he had to go to hell completely and suffer in hell for 3 days for our sins.
All right, this will be the last, the last title topic, and then we'll end it on this one. So we're going to see what the pain description is, then we're going to wrap this thing up. Because, yeah, this thing is pretty. But normally I'd be giving a teaching lesson and telling them, but it's really, I can't really teach anything. I'm just learning as much as you are, getting an understanding of what these people's stories are, seeing how different people are having similar stories and of different situations that they experience with their testimony of descending into hell, and how they all explain it somewhat similarly. Sheesh.
It's not metaphorical or allegorical. It's not a state of the mind. It's real, literal pain you're going to feel in hell.
And it's multiplied every time.
It's so intense and the pain is so bad. You know, it's way beyond what you can imagine. I mean, you're just being ripped apart and come back together just to be ripped apart again, and your face is distorted and they're laughing at you. I know one of the worst pains in the world. You get a little splinter in your finger. You know how bad it hurts right there in the finger? Well, in the spirit, if you get a splinter, it hurts throughout your whole being. Your whole being feels it. And it's so painful.
And as soon as they get done doing whatever they want to you, when you regenerate, it's that fresh feeling every time you regenerate. So it's not like, oh, I can get used to it. Like, no, there's no rust. There's no getting used to anything, really. And there's no cap to it either. So, like, if you get stabbed in your hand, you'll feel it all throughout your body. It hurts so bad. Like, everything down there is times a billion.
Your body will go into shock if too much pain is introduced. Not so in hell. I mean, from my toes to the top of my head, every nerve ending was alive in my body, and I felt it all.
Those words, when they spoke it in the spirit, hurt so bad. And they knew exactly what to use.
And nobody's concerned about the suffrage of anyone else, because what you're going through is so heightened. It's such at a high level of what you're dealing with alone that you probably couldn't even remember if you had a mom. You couldn't even remember if you had a life once before. How many brothers and sisters you have. These things are not even of concern. Who's your loved one? Where's your kids? None of that stuff. None of it matters. None of it. All you're going to want to do is beg for your life to get out of there. Everyone is trying to get out. Everyone is trying to get out.
The pain is intense. It doesn't go away. And the thing is, here's what you don't understand. In the flesh, God gave us something that's great. In the flesh, if you have pain that's too intense, you just black out. In the spirit, you can't, because your spirit doesn't sleep. Your spirit doesn't have that blackout mode.
That's where I found.
That truly sucks, because you go into shock and you go through too much pain and you just kind of pass out from the pain. He said there ain't no shock out there. You just constantly feel nonstop pain, man. And then, remember, this is the bad spectrum of hell testimonies. Just think of the opposite of how good will be when you get there. We got 5 more minutes.
Found out what that scripture means, and there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I'd always wondered what that meant. Just because you're too tired to scream doesn't make the pain go away. I gritted my teeth so hard in my mouth, they shattered from that pain. And the next time I could scream, I was spitting out enamel. There's no way to describe the pain of hell. There's no word in the English language or any other language to describe this pain.
There's no more pleasure. No more pleasure, just pain and sorrow. Can you imagine that? Forever and ever.
This was their punishment forever.
That the moment you enter, you know you're never leaving that place.
100 million billion years isn't even a second in eternity. Not even a click of a second in eternity.
Once a person get there, it's too late.
See, there's no exits in hell. So there is absolutely no hope. And this thing is forever. You're not getting out.
The Bible says after death comes judgment. Doesn't come a second, third chance.
From all cultures, I promise, and they were telling everybody, don't come here, don't come here. But the fact is, in my mind, I think the Lord put in my heart and said, it's not our choice no more. It's not up to us. He gave, that time is over with. That's why we need to make use of our time. That's why I tell everyone.
You're stuck for eternity.
I understood that I'll never get out. Never. And to know you'll be there for all eternity without hope. You know, Isaiah 38:18 says, those who go down to the pit cannot hope for thy truth. You have no hope for Jesus because it's too late for them. The decision's final.
People ask me, well, what's hell like? What's these cells like? They're like waking up in a non-ending living nightmare that never ends.
These things had to be 50 stories tall, and there was a row of them all the way as your eyes can see looking up. And they are open old bar cells, and there are people in them.
As she walked, it was like the floor would move and the scene in her mind would change, even though she was in a small cell. Best I can describe would be like Star Trek, The Next Generation. They had that holodeck thing. It's very similar to that. People in these cubes were not being tormented or tortured by God. That's another myth. It's what they've done in life allows that to happen to them. And when I looked inside of each cell, I was granted discernment. I knew their life history in an instant. Whatever era of time they died in, that's what they saw inside their cell. It's different dimension. I can't describe it. I could feel what they could feel. I could hear what they were hearing. I could see what they were going through, as well as what the demons were doing to them.
What's happening is this one dude that got my attention, this white boy, I went right into his trance, and I'm looking down with his hands and his arms, and he's a little boy. He cannot stop like molesting this little boy, but it's not really happening. It's in his head. But it's totally real to him. There's no difference that he can tell. It's just like he's over and over and over for eternity. He's not going to be able to stop, and he's not enjoying it.
And her deception was so incredible. And she could see this grand place in her grandparents' farm that she loved as a kid. And her grandmother said, come, dear Pudding, let's go out back. Went out the back. There's your favorite spot over by there. You have eternity here. You know, can't you feel the love here? And the love there is not God's love. It is an sick love. It's a deceptive love. And she goes, yes, grandmother, I do. She says, oh, I'm going to go back inside, dear Pudding, and bake you your favorite cookies. And now I could see her grandmother as the demonic entity, all the chairs, everything was an entity that gave the illusion of a prop.
I'm not tricked like this guy thinking he's at his house again. I'm thinking we're in your trance, bro. But he don't know it. It's too convincing for him.
I saw deception. I saw people arrive in this place thinking they met their ancient gods or their pagan gods, only to wake up too late that they were deceived.